Thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to be on my show.
That's great. Yeah, I been watching your YouTube channel, and always like to see more interesting things and see interesting people to talk to. So I'm from Virginia, and I run a small company called Polito Incorporated, and we do cybersecurity, incident response, ransomware response, pen testing, and red teaming.
So before talking about before talking more about you and the work that you are doing about the company, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. Yeah, I started out in IT 20 years ago, and like most people, or a lot of people, I started in technical support, answering phone calls and uh, working the desk. Then I got into cyber, working midnight shifts uh, in a SOC, security operations center, while going to school. And so I didn't have a degree when I started. It just kept going to school while I was working. Then when I finally got my degree, it opened up a lot more opportunities. But having that experience, I think, was more important than having the degree to get started into cybersecurity.
So then you started.
In 1996 was when I first got my IT job, and then working the SOC in 2000. Then I started my company, Polito Incorporated, in 2012. After working for large contracting companies, I started Polito. It's kind of the place that I wanted to work in, and it's kind of place that we could be creative and also work for customers that we want to work for.
So cybersecurity. So you have huge experience in this, and you decided to start your own company.
Yes. Working for over 20 years with different companies, for different companies, I realized that if I started my own company, I get to choose a lot of the jobs that I wanted to work on, and so it's a lot more exciting. We do some pen testing, security testing. We're looking for vulnerabilities, and we try and find them before the bad guys do. So, like the recent Log4j vulnerability, I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. What we like to do is be proactive and then work with our customers to scan for these and look for these vulnerabilities before they're exploited, and then in the chance that they are exploited by someone other than us, we help the customers respond to that and try and fix that as quickly as possible.
So what was that thought which made you to start your own? You want to change something, or you want to fix something, or you want to do something in cybersecurity?
To start my own company in cybersecurity, it's kind of exciting because you really have no guarantees that you're going to have work from one week to the next. I think for people starting a company, it is kind of a scary thing. But I think part of that challenge is what draws us into this. I started my own company because I wanted to work the jobs that I wanted to work and not what my boss wanted me to work. So it gave me the freedom to do that. And it kind of grew where I had other people that were like-minded, that also wanted to work exciting jobs and didn't necessarily want a boss always telling them what to do. I think some people can live and work in that environment where they have someone telling them, you sit in this chair and you work on this project, and that's all you do today and tomorrow and next day and for the rest of your employment. But for my company, I could be working a pen test, responding to an incident, and also just doing research all in the same day. And it doesn't limit me to one specific area. So that's really, I think, why I picked this field in the first place. But with this job, that's definitely why I like working in cybersecurity, and especially in my own company.
Why you want to put this name?
Polito Incorporated. Polito is actually part of my name, but in Italian, it could also mean polished. And so I like to think that we provide polished cybersecurity services. That's kind of the name idea for Polito Incorporated. Yeah, I struggled to find a name for a company, and I couldn't think of anything that sounded cool that wasn't already taken, and so Polito just seemed natural to me.
So what exactly Polito do?
So we do pen testing. That's where we're looking for vulnerabilities in client sites. Red teaming, where we're assuming a breach would occur, and we're attacking from the inside and looking for ways to demonstrate that there's weaknesses in their Windows domain, phishing attacks, like social engineering, sending people emails and asking them to click on it, or vishing, where we're calling them up and directing them to do certain things. We also do a lot of incident response because we're not the only ones using these tactics. Actual criminals, cyber criminals, are using the same tactics, and they're quite successful at getting ransomware installed or extorting companies with whatever information that they steal. And so we assist companies in recovering from those attacks, identifying if any sensitive information was exposed, and then trying to stop future attacks, or at least limit the exposure that the customers have from those attacks through like different mitigation strategies. So different mitigation strategies can be like doing VLAN restriction on their internal network so that their desktops are not necessarily able to communicate with some of their accounting software, for example. They should all be on separate networks so that if one is compromised, they're not all compromised. So typically what we're seeing in most organizations is it's a flat environment where as soon as you get that foothold onto the network, you're able to go anywhere across the network.
You gave your service for?
We have customers in finance, critical infrastructure, pretty much across the board. We've responded to ransomware attacks with local city, state governments, and so it's pretty varied. I did a lot of work with Comcast over the years, hacking their routers and set-top boxes and stuff.
So you understand everything in cybersecurity?
I don't know if anybody understands everything. Uh, I'm definitely what you would call mile wide, inch deep in my knowledge. So I do know a lot of different things about a lot of different things, but I might not be the expert at all of them. So, for example, I think even though I do pretty good at a lot of pen testing and hacking and stuff, there are areas where I am still researching, like reverse engineering, um, coding, programming. I'm always learning about new things and trying to increase my knowledge.
So providing security to the machines, providing security to the softwares, so
Mhm.
providing security to the non-living things. So
Yes. Yeah, so application security is something we run across a lot. We're looking at how are applications coded and uh, how do they work, and what are ways that there are weaknesses in them. So that's always a fun one. We're looking for and trying to demonstrate, for example, SQL injection or cross-site scripting in the application. Um, the recent Log4j example, we're looking for, does it even run Java? If it runs Java, then we could look at ways we can try and exploit that. So yeah, I think the first part of a test is where what's called footprinting the application, looking for different versions that they're running, and then trying to piece together how it works, and then looking for those weaknesses in the application.
so as a founder of Polito, so what Polito, the best thing that Polito did after coming in the market?
I think the best thing we do is we're flexible. So if today clients need instant response, we can jump on that, right away. We're small, so we're only 12 people, but we're kind of spread out. So we have people out in Tennessee or Ohio or Florida, and we're able to respond quickly to different challenges. Um, I think similar to me, where I focus in a lot of different areas, Polito also does the same. And we have that philosophy where if you're working for Polito, you're going to do a lot of different things and not be just restricted to one area. So although we do value specialization, we also like people who can be able to be flexible.
So why do a individual or a company need to select Polito for their cybersecurity services?
Um, I think working with a company that is responsive to your needs and has experience across the industry is valuable. I think it may not necessarily be Polito, but I do think that companies do need to be proactive in their security. And I also think that companies should have a outside external look at their security, because if you're working on it every day, you're too close to it and you don't necessarily see all the vulnerabilities and the holes. Whereas an outsider can definitely see things that you might miss. And it never hurts to have a second opinion when it comes to something as critical as cybersecurity. So yeah, I think that's I would say that yes, pick Polito, but if not, pick some cybersecurity company, uh, just so that you can have that security.
So you give services only to the US country.
We do a lot of commercial work, and we're kind of spread out in the type of work that we do. I think we try and focus on um, commercial opportunities. Yeah.
I mean, you're giving services from 2012 only to United States, or you're giving to other
Oh,
countries also?
so we've been lucky to work with countries in places in Canada, um, Europe, and South America. We recently had a guy down in Colombia imaging some servers for an incident in Colombia, for example. So we are happy to travel. It's become a lot harder to travel now with all the restrictions, but I think travel restrictions are easing up, and we're definitely looking forward to more international work. Yeah.
So before starting Polito, you already have a lot of experience. You already worked in the industry. You know how things work already.
Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't know how to start a company or run a company, but I knew how to do cybersecurity. I knew how to hack, and I knew how to do incident response. So I'd say I was 75% there to running a company. But starting a company and running a company and having employees are all things that I really had to do research on and to learn as I went. Um, what I can recommend for someone else starting a new company uh, is to reach out to similar people, similar companies, owners, founders, and talk to them. Find out who their accounting services is with. How do they do accounting? Find out are they are they how do they manage people? How do they do invoicing? Um, I think accounting was probably one of my biggest things with starting the company because I'm not really good with I'm more the creative type, not the details type. And accounting, you have to be very detail oriented and have an eye on the money. So that was really the first thing I outsourced was just all my accounting work, and so I could focus on running a business of cybersecurity and doing what I like to do.
So you said you give cybersecurity services to different industries, like you mentioned, finance and others. So giving to different service to different things. How is that experience? In this long time of yours.
I think I'd like variety, so that's kind of what I've unconsciously seek out is just different types of opportunities with different types of work. So yeah, it's true. I think the financial applications, for example, are always interesting. Critical infrastructure, because it's so important, is exciting to work on. But I also really like working on embedded systems like Linux, and I think pretty much every new device that's coming out now, underneath it's running Linux. So even though it sits on your next to your TV, or even your TV itself is running Linux probably. So I like to test those embedded types of systems as well. See what I can learn, see what they're capable of, and just have fun with it.
So you started cybersecurity studies in 1990s. So when you started, it was a completely different thing inside the machine. Now it's 2020. What is the difference that you are observing in this providing the service?
In the 90s, if you were on the internet, you had a IP address that was publicly routable. Now everything's natted behind firewalls and other intrusion, other security protections. So in the 90s, you could connect directly to a target, and you had to see if it was a lot easier to break into things back in the 90s, I think. But in a way, we're still doing the same thing that we were doing then. Like, I think one of the most common ways that compromises occur is through brute forcing passwords. And that was the same as it was back in the 90s. I think remote desktop is probably the number one way that attackers are gaining access into our customers' networks. SSH brute forcing is yet another one.
You understand space technology security?
What's that? Space technology?
Yeah.
Like satellites and stuff. If you think about it, the satellites, they're probably running Linux as well. It's exciting, and I think the opportunity to work in those things would be fun. But when something's shipped out into space, and when how long it's operational, it's years from when they first develop something to when they ship it out into space, and before it's really hard to change things once it's out there in space. Yeah.
So through this social media, through this huge traffic in the sites, if you observe today's internet usage, it is completely different from back 10 years. So the identity, the passwords, everything people became real online. So what internet is going to be? Is it possible for human being or experts like you to put walls around their house in order to protect themselves in the internet?
I think so. I think it's important to when they're building these new systems that they put safeguards in it by default, and I think that's happening a lot now. So if everything from your home security system could be should be checked for vulnerabilities before it's actually put into production. So hopefully these companies are doing that before putting it in place on customers' networks and in their houses, and even looking for those vulnerabilities. For example, the home security system that are designed, I think, to stop you from just taking the system. There should be alerts so that even if you are disabling the system, that if it doesn't call back, that it still alerts on something like that. Yeah.
So the clients of yours, before coming, what common thing that they ask you?
I think the most common thing is where are my vulnerabilities? How did attackers get in? And did they take anything? Did they take anything sensitive? So to answer those questions, we do what we call computer forensics. We look at the system, at the logs, look at the firewall logs, NetFlow, and look and see if we can find where the attackers came from. And then we search on the systems itself to see if there's any indicators that the attackers were on the system. And then we look for things that are considered by the customers sensitive or proprietary. For example, credit card numbers or personal ID numbers or any personal information that could expose the client to blackmail. So that's usually the big thing is, yeah, maybe the attackers got in, but if they didn't take anything really sensitive, then they and they have backups, then they might be okay.
What do you say about the cryptocurrency?
About what?
Cryptocurrency.
Oh, cryptocurrency. Uh, well, we run across Bitcoin a lot because that's usually what ransomware people are demanding when they take over our clients. I think that it does give a lot of freedom to individuals, where it's another investment, I guess. It's very volatile, so it changes constantly. But I think cryptocurrency is it's a good way for the individual to have some freedom of with their money. Yeah. What do you think?
But I think you are an expert. I'm listening to you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not an expert at cryptocurrency, but I do think that some cryptocurrency is good. I wouldn't necessarily put all my money into it, but I think that having that as like a hedge is probably a smart thing for most people. Yeah. But it does give you a lot of freedom in how you can move money around easily. So yeah, I can see
And
where it could be used for bad things as well, because it is semi-anonymous. When you send money to a Bitcoin address, you really don't know who's behind that Bitcoin address. Do you?
and what do you say about NFT?
What's that?
NFT.
NFT? That's a new thing that I haven't really gotten into much. It's a digital picture that somebody creates, and then they can sell the picture. And so you could buy the picture or digital rights to the picture, but someone could also just copy that picture without actually buying it, from what I understand. Yeah.
So finding the loopholes, is that easy?
It can be. It's a lot of luck sometimes. I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about some aspects of cybersecurity. Some things are very scientific, and you follow a certain path and you get the same results. But when you're doing like a pen test, or when you're hacking a complicated application, the application can respond randomly in different ways, depending on things like, is the application under a heavy load? When you stress it, does it act differently? And so that's what makes it challenging to test for those applications. Yeah, yeah. But it's what I find most interesting, I think, in that aspect of the job is that you really don't know what you're going to find until you start doing it, and it is kind of like exploring unknown territory, especially when you're testing a new application. So it's pretty exciting.
So what is fascinating you being in this job, providing cybersecurity service?
Um, I like the fact that it changes constantly, and there's always something new to look out for. So it does require a lot of research and being able to be a little bit flexible sometimes. Sometimes having to work nights and weekends because that's when there's some emergency that happens. But also having the flexibility to be able to work nights and weekends when I want to, so that I can spend time doing something else. So, yeah, there's a lot of flexibility, I think, in this industry that, especially now that a lot of people are working from home, it does make it a lot easier to do different things like that.
So, what is world without Polito?
What is what?
What is world without your company?
Oh, it would be one smaller, sadder uh, uh, field security in cybersecurity. I think there's a lot of companies out there that do what we do, but I think we all kind of work together. And even though there is some competition, I think more often we're working with companies rather than against them. And I think my goal with my company is to mentor new people, help new businesses that are starting, and I've always had kind of open door policy where you can reach out to me on Twitter or LinkedIn or you can send smoke signals. I'm happy to answer and and help you in any way I can, especially those that are new to the field and want to get into it. That's kind of how I started. Was just I just started talking to different people and got their ideas and started my own company. So, or even getting into pen testing and hacking, started that by just watching other people do it and said, hey, that looks like a lot of fun. And that's basically how I started.
Like you said, you are very responsive. Polito is very responsive, solves problems very fast. So, your team is 12 members.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody can do everything.
Everybody can do everything. That's our goal. Is that if this week you're working on forensics, I want you to work on pen testing and a red team engagement next week. I really like people to be cross-trained and to be able to do multiple different things rather than just specialize in one area. It's kind of my basic philosophy is to be able to do anything and everything. You might not be as good at one of those things as someone else, but you can still contribute and you can still do it.
So, what is the impact that you did with your company?
What's that?
What is the impact that you created?
Impact. Uh, so someone said to me once, why do I exist? Why does Polito exist? And I think the impact is that we help our customers improve. I think improvement is important for everybody. It's important for me and definitely important for my employees and also for my customers to be able to start from a place that in an area and then move them up to a better place. So, lock down those access control lists and make an application more secure. Stop attacks like, cross-site scripting. Find bad passwords on the network that attackers could use. So we're constantly improving and constantly looking for ways that we can improve so that we can be more resilient and be better able to face the challenges in the future.
What you don't understand about cybersecurity?
So crypto is probably one of my weaknesses, but I mean, I work on it constantly, and I think nobody likes to talk about their weaknesses. But yeah, I think also policy. I'm not very good at doing security policy. I don't memorize all the different security regulations, but it's something that I can continue to improve on, and also something that I can work with my team to back me up and to assist on.
So, for which client you gave the best service?
All clients. I, yeah, I think we try and bring the same level of effort to every client, and we definitely want to improve, you know, for everyone. Yeah.
So the attacks that you're observing, you said you worked in Canada and some European countries.
Mhm.
So what is the different types of attacks that you observed and why they do? What is their motivation? What is their intention?
The ransomware is pretty simple. They want to force the company to pay them Bitcoin for a ransom. Um, so that's the motivation for the attackers. And then, so our job is to find out how they got in. Did they take anything that was sensitive, and monitor, are they posting it on the dark web, and help them recover as quickly as possible, because the companies are in business to make money, and this ransomware incident or hacking incident is stopping them from making money. So our goal is to get them back in business as quickly as possible, and at the same time to try and prevent future attacks, if we can, minimize the impact of future attacks. So we're looking at how are backups stored. Do they have disaster recovery? Do they have a plan? And so we like customers that can be proactive. And so as one of our services is proactively looking for these types of things before an attack occurs, so that they'll be more ready when an attack occurs. Because it's possible for companies to stop a lot of attacks, but there's always going to be some new 0-day, some new vulnerability that comes out that they're not tracking that can impact them negatively. And so our goal is definitely to try and help that. We had one case where we're working with the bank, and we've been working with the bank for years, and they had decent security, but then they brought in a vendor who was setting up their voice over IP phones, and the vendor was compromised. And so they had VPN access into the network. Because the vendor was compromised, within a matter of weeks, our client was compromised. So those types of things can happen. It's like you can be doing everything right and still fail. I guess that's really the message here, is that even though you try and stop all attacks, you might not be able to stop all of them, but you do want to try and mitigate the impact of an attack before the attack occurs. So you want to put in those different safeguards to stop the impact of it.
Technology is advancing day by day. The owners of the applications are improving the standards and updating their softwares. Are you able to provide the security to everything that is updating constantly?
It's very challenging. Windows Defender, I think, is now probably one of the best antiviruses out there. It's sending stuff to the cloud, and it's very hard to beat Windows Defender when it's configured that way from the attacker's point of view. So I think what attackers are doing that defenders are also doing is we're both modifying our methods. So attackers will say, okay, they can't beat Windows Defender signatures and the cloud-based access. So what do they try and do is they try and disable the antivirus. And so on the defender side, they put in checks to stop disabling the antivirus. But the attackers are always going to try and find ways that can beat those different checks. So they'll try and kill the service, rename a file so that the service doesn't start, run some PowerShell to disable it, kill the process. They'll use a dozen different ways to try and beat that security protection. And when they do, it doesn't take too long before these Windows Defender or other security companies to find ways to stop that attack. So it's a constant learning and updating. So it's frustrating in some ways because if you're trying to do a demonstration and the technology is changing, it can be pretty hard to have a successful demonstration. So the recent update for Microsoft is they're disabling macros for Office documents. So macros are really convenient because you can automate a lot of your document processing. You can have your documents running code, but this is also good for attackers because they want their code to run in the application as well. So I'm curious to see what will happen if Microsoft locks down macros on Office documents. What will attackers move to next? Yeah.
How do you charge to your clients for your service? And also, do all clients of yours have technical knowledge?
I think it's a mixture. Probably most of our clients do have really good security already, and we're serving as a outside industry standard opinion. We're very flexible with how we work with clients, and in a lot of cases we work with partners. So like I said earlier, we're not always competing with other companies. In most cases, we're working with companies, and in some cases, this is kind of how I started my company. I work with larger companies who need someone that specializes in my special area. They need a pen tester, or they need a incident responder, and they might have a full staff of people that are already fully booked and engaged. And so the choices that a company like that has is, do they just turn down business, or do they hire someone like me who can assist them with those with that extra work? So yeah, I think most of those jobs are like net 30. So we'll work the job, and then in 30 days we get paid. Yeah, so for 30 days we don't get a paycheck. Well, my employees do, but we have to be able to cover for that for a month at least.
Are you able to? I mean, what do you think? Giving security to artificial intelligence,
Um, Giving security to what?
Art, artificial intelligence.
Oh, so it's still one of those new and constantly changing fields, even though artificial intelligence has been around for a while. Um, it's definitely something that's changing rapidly. I think it is kind of a fun field to try and automate things, and yeah, I think it, it's just a new fun field to work with. I know with a lot of the GPUs and the graphics cards that have the processing on the chip make things a lot faster. And so that could also improve things like artificial intelligence. Uh, Definitely will have to have more safeguards, I think, in those. There was a pretty cool capture the flag event at DEF CON a couple years ago where they had artificial intelligence for capturing the flag and to see which team could capture the flag best through all just automated artificial intelligence means. So it's definitely kind of a new field, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. So yeah, I've seen artificial intelligence in a lot of different fields. Um, I think probably where it's going to be more interesting is in drones. You know, looking at how those autonomous flying vehicles add in artificial intelligence, and I think that would be pretty interesting.
Why do people use their smartness to attack somebody? Why cyber attacks?
I think now it's money, right? It's cyber criminals. They're trying to make money, and so they're they are trying to find ways to do that. Um, they could probably do it legitimately. They could definitely start a company like I do and work with companies to improve security. But I think they know that they can make a lot more money illegally. And I think there's some countries where they not only allow that, but they encourage it. So um, that's just been my experience. So, and sometimes they crack down on the criminals. So we'll see. I think recently they just wrapped up. They caught a whole bunch of cyber criminals in Russia for different ransomware gangs. But we'll see how long they stay arrested and whether they're back out again. So it's kind of interesting. Um, Sometimes when these criminals they go on vacation somewhere and they go to a country that has extradition rights with the U.S. and they get arrested anyway. So I think from the criminal's point of view, if you're going to be a criminal, you probably have to stay in a place where you're not going to get caught. So you don't want to, if you're a criminal, you don't want to go to a country where they have harsh criminal laws against that.
But still, there is a disconnection between cyber laws and the laws of the lands, the laws of different countries.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. So I think we can all agree though that ransoming a company uh, millions of dollars in Bitcoin is wrong. But you're right. There's definitely different rules for uh, for cyber. In some countries, you can't even have security tools. Security tools are illegal. In other countries, it's not so. I think for a long time, in the US, we banned crypto. So if you had a program that used any type of cryptography, you weren't allowed to share that with people in other countries. But the laws are constantly changing as well. And so I think that's definitely going to be a challenging aspect of cybersecurity. You know.
So if my country or my state or my province IT minister is watching this, what advice you will give to him about cybersecurity?
So I think that because we have the global economy and cybersecurity is something that anybody can learn and do. People in India are definitely increasing their I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs in India, right? So we're definitely looking forward to working with people in India, and we have a lot of people from India in the United States as well. So it's always, I think diversity is a very important part of successful business, and diversity of mind, and also diversity of background. So being able to think differently allows you to see things that other people don't see, and that's really the essential hacker mindset, is just always being able to think differently and look for things that that other people just didn't see. So yeah, it's exciting. I think that's probably one of the fun parts about the job.
So at last, you bought a point called diversity. So by seeing the diversity in my YouTube channel, what do you say about me and my work?
I always like your channel. I think you talk to some fun people, and so I look forward to listening more. And I like you seem like a friendly person, so I definitely like to talk with you more in the future as well.
I'll put your website link in the description of this video. People who finds our video on YouTube can see the service that you're providing and can take your service as well. And also I'll put your website link on the screen. They can see it. And can you
Okay.
spell your website name so that my people who are listening to our conversation on podcast can listen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's POLITOINC.com. Polito Inc. I'm sorry. Yeah, PolitoInc.com.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. Keep going, keep doing what you love, and at the same time, keep securing people and also be the reason for a lot of people's wealth, wealth
Absolutely.
security.
Yeah. Anybody has any questions, you can contact me anytime. If you want to set up a cybersecurity business, I'm happy to work with you and help you do that. So I think if you're interested in a career in cybersecurity, definitely reach out to me. And even though I'm a small company, I can still at least offer advice and try and offer assistance however I can.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes.
Can I also put this video and audio clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Sure.
Yeah, one last thing. What do you say about my questioning in this conversation?
It's very interesting, and I definitely enjoyed talking with you, and I hope to talk with you more.
Thank you, Fred. Keep going and keep doing what you love.
Okay, Sai. Thank you.